You're not on the list. My brother said it like he was checking a reservation, not cutting me out of his wedding. His wedding. In the house I bought him, there were 200 guests inside. Black suits, champagne, a string quartet somewhere in the back. Lights strung across a backyard I paid for, and I was standing at the entrance like a stranger who took a wrong turn. That sentence cost him $770,000. It cost my father a son, and it cost me the last piece of belief that blood meant anything. But what none of them knew, what nobody in that house knew, was simple. The roof over their heads still had my name on it. And 12 hours earlier, I had signed it away. Not out of anger, not in the moment. I'd already made the decision. They just hadn't felt it yet. Before I get into how it all unraveled, take a second, like the video, subscribe if you're into real stories like this, and drop your location and local time in the comments. I read more of them than you'd think. My name is Ethan Mercer. I'm 31 years old, and this is the story of how I lost my family without ever really having one to begin with. Or maybe more accurately, how I stopped pretending I did. Everything that happened that night, the wedding, the house, the fallout, it didn't start there. It started 17 years earlier. The day my mother died. That was the day everything split. My mother died on a Tuesday in October. I was 14. She'd been sick for 2 years. Ovarian cancer by the end. She weighed less than I did, but she never let it show. Not in the way that mattered. She was still the strongest person in any room she walked into. Even when walking became something she had to fight for. She was the only one in our house who believed in fairness. If Ryan got something, I got something. Not equal in price, equal in intention, equal in attention. That was her rule. No favorites, no exceptions. She kept the balance. And when she died, the balance went with her. The funeral was small. Gray sky, wet grass, the smell of lilies, and damp earth sticking to everything. I remember standing a few steps back from the casket, hands in my pockets because I didn't know what else to do with them. My father stood at the front with his arm around Ryan. Ryan was 16. Taller than him already. I was 3 feet away when my father pulled him closer and said it. Loud enough for people to hear. You're the man of the house now. Nobody said anything to me. Not then, not after. Except one person. Patricia Callahan Patty. My mom's best friend since college. She found me near the back pew after everyone started leaving. I remember her crouching down, taking both my hands like I was still a kid. I promised your mother I'd always have your back, she said. You remember that? I nodded. I didn't understand it. Not really. What I didn't know, what I wouldn't find out for years, was that my mother had made it official, legal, in her final weeks. She'd named Patty my godmother, signed the paperwork, made it binding. At the time, it sounded like something people did when they were dying. Sentimental, symbolic. It wasn't. My mother saw something coming. She knew what my father would become without her there to keep things even. To keep him accountable. And she planned for it, she just didn't tell me. After the funeral, the house changed. Not all at once, not in a way you could point to in a single moment, but it split. 2 versions of the same home, Ryan's world and mine. Ryan's world had momentum, mine had gravity. He got a car on his 16th birthday, a used Mustang. Nothing flashy, but it ran, and it was his. My father handed him the keys in the driveway, like it was a ceremony. I stood on the porch and watched. Nobody looked back at me. A month later, my father opened a college fund in Ryan's name. I know because I overheard him on the phone, talking numbers with a financial advisor like it was an investment that mattered. He started topping it up every month. Golf lessons came next. The club my father went to on weekends. Ryan got invited in, introduced around, taught how to swing, how to talk, how to belong in rooms that expected a certain kind of man. Campus visits followed. Weekend trips, hotels, brochures spread across the kitchen table. Ryan's room got repainted twice in 1 year. Mine stayed the same. When I asked my father for money for textbooks sophomore year, he didn't even look up from the TV. Ask your brother, he said. I already gave him the budget, like there was one pool of money, and Ryan got there first. I got a job the week I turned 16. Coffee shop, 4:30 a.m. shifts before school. I bought my own notebooks, my own calculator, my own winter coat when the zipper on my old one broke, and nobody noticed. It wasn't dramatic. That's the part people don't understand. Nothing about it felt loud. It was quiet, consistent, one decision at a time, one omission at a time, one small reminder that I wasn't the priority. The night that stuck with me wasn't the biggest moment. It never is. I needed Ryan's car for 2 hours. Scholarship interview the next morning. The bus didn't run early enough. I knocked on his door. Can I borrow the car tomorrow? He didn't look up from his phone. I need it. It's 2 hours. Take the bus. It doesn't run that early. A pause. Then, flat. Not my problem. So I walked. 2.5 miles. In the dark. Cold enough that my hands went numb halfway there. I made the interview. I got the scholarship. Years later, I found out something that made everything else make sense. My mother had set up a college fund for me too. Same amount as Ryan's. After she died, my father moved every dollar into Ryan's account. Didn't wait a year. Didn't say a word. Just transferred it. That was the moment I understood. It wasn't neglect. It was a decision. I graduated on a Saturday in June, summa cum laude, National Honor Society, full scholarship to state. I walked across the stage, shook a hand, took a photo I never looked at again. When I scanned the bleachers' rows of families, flowers, balloons, I found one face, Patty, 3rd row, left side. She was clapping harder than anyone there. Not polite applause, real, like it meant something. She had a single sunflower in her lap. That was it. No father, no brother, just her. That night, I packed 2 suitcases. Not everything, just what mattered. Clothes, documents, a few things from my room that still felt like mine. My father was in the living room watching SportsCenter when I walked past him with the bags. He glanced up. You leaving? Yeah. He nodded once, looked back at the screen. Lock the door on your way out. That was it. No handshake. No good luck. No call me when you get there. Just instructions. I didn't say anything back. I walked out, pulled the door closed behind me, and turned the lock. The sound stuck, not loud, but final. I rented a room above a laundromat in a college town 40 minutes away. The place smelled like detergent and heat, walls thin enough to hear arguments through them. It didn't matter. It was mine. I worked mornings at the same kind of coffee shop I started in, nights at a restaurant 2 blocks from campus, classes in between, 4 hours of sleep if things lined up right. Patty offered help once, sat me down at her kitchen table, checkbook already open. Your mom left something with me, she said. Let me use it. I shook my head. I need to do this myself. She watched me for a second, then closed the checkbook. No argument. You sound like her, she said. I didn't answer. I just went back to work. I didn't think about them much after that, not because it didn't matter, because it didn't help. Days got simple. Work, class, repeat. No room for anything else. You keep moving long enough. You stop asking why things happened and start focusing on what's next. I got my real estate license at 22, first sale at 23. It wasn't impressive, small deal, modest commission, but it was mine. No one handed it to me. No one opened a door. I learned fast how to read people, how to stay quiet and let them talk, how to close without looking like you were closing. Most of it wasn't about property. It was about understanding what people wanted and how far they go to get it. By 26, I had my first 6-figure year. Not luck, volume, long hours, early calls, late showings, deals falling through at the last minute, and starting over the next morning like it didn't matter. I didn't celebrate. I just kept going. Money started stacking, slowly at first, then faster. Savings turned into leverage. Leverage turned into bigger deals. By 29, I'd closed over 40 transactions in a single year. I had clients who trusted me, a name that meant something in the room. Not big, not famous, but solid, reliable. Everything I had, I built. No help, no shortcuts, no one to fall back on. And somewhere along the way, without realizing it, I stopped being the kid who got left behind. I became the one people called when they needed something done. I thought that would be enough. I thought that if I built something real, something visible, they'd see it, see me. I was wrong. The call came on a Wednesday. I almost didn't answer. Unknown number, middle of the day. I was between showings. I picked up anyway. Ethan, it's your father. 3 years. No birthdays, no holidays, no check-ins, just silence. He didn't ask how I was, didn't ask where I'd been, didn't acknowledge the gap. He got straight to it. Your brother needs a place. I didn't say anything. He's getting serious with a girl. Good family. He can't be renting some apartment. Still nothing from me. Help him out. Not what you consider. Not if you can. Just fix it. Like I was a tool. He hadn't used in a while. I leaned against the hood of my car and watched a couple walk into a property I'd just shown them. I'm working, I said. It won't take long. Of course it wouldn't. It never did for him. I was 29. 40 deals that year. Savings, reputation, a life that didn't include him. And still, there was a part of me that paused. A part that hadn't learned yet. Maybe this time. Maybe if I did this, something would change. Maybe if I gave enough, it would register. So I said yes. The house was a 4-bedroom colonial in a quiet suburb. New roof, large yard, clean layout, $770,000. I handled everything. Financing wasn't an issue. Paperwork was clean. Closing was fast. I signed the deed. My name, not his. That part wasn't instinct. That was Patty. I told her what I was doing the day before closing. Sat across from her at the same kitchen table she'd offered me help years earlier. She didn't react right away, just set her coffee down. "You're buying his approval," she said. "I know." She held my gaze longer than I was comfortable with. "Do you?" I didn't answer. "Then do one thing right," she said. "Keep your name on that deed." I was going to. "Promise me." "I promise." She nodded once. Didn't push, didn't argue, just accepted it. Like she'd already seen how this would end. Ryan moved in a week later, didn't ask about the paperwork, didn't ask whose name was on anything. Why would he? He never had to. It didn't happen all at once. That would have been easier. A clean break. A single moment you could point to and say there. That's when it ended. This was different. It started small. Quiet enough that you could explain it away, if you wanted to. Thanksgiving. First year after Ryan moved into the house. I called a few days before. "What time should I come by?" A pause on the other end. "Oh, Nicole's family is coming this year," he said. "We're a little tight on space. Maybe next time. Maybe next time." I said no problem like it didn't land. Christmas came. "We're doing it at the Ashford's place this year. Bigger house." "You know how it is." I didn't. But I said I did. February. My father's birthday. "Just a small dinner," Ryan said. Didn't want to make it a whole thing. Every time. There was a reason. And every reason made sense if you didn't look at it too long. I started noticing the pattern, not exclusion. Editing. Ryan was dating Nicole Ashford. Old money. The kind that doesn't talk about itself, but shows up everywhere: country clubs, charity boards, buildings with their name on them. Nicole, from what little I heard, was good, kind. The kind of person who expected honesty. Ryan was building something, not a life, a version. The kind you present to a family like hers. Clean, simple, controlled. And I didn't fit. You can't introduce a missing piece into a perfect picture. So he removed it, carefully, slow enough that no one would notice. Except the one person being removed. I saw how far it had gone on a December night. I was scrolling through Nicole's Instagram, not looking for anything specific, just checking. There it was, a photo taken in the dining room of that house, my house. Garland wrapped around the staircase I picked out, candles lined across the mantel I paid for. Ryan stood at the head of the table, Nicole beside him, my father across from them, her parents smiling like everything was exactly where it should be. Caption: Family Christmas at our home. Just us, small family. That's all we need. Our home, small family. I stared at it longer than I should have. Then I took a screenshot, didn't know why, didn't have a folder for it yet, but something in me said save it, so I did. It kept happening. Photos, posts, tags. Every version of that house showed the same people. Ryan, Nicole, my father, her family. Never me. Not once. I went back further. Months, then a year, then 2. Old photos started disappearing. Group shots cropped tighter. Angles changed. Faces missing. Mine. Removed. Like I'd never been there to begin with. It wasn't loud. No one said, "You don't belong." They just built a version of reality where I didn't exist. And the worst part, it worked. Because unless you knew the truth, unless you were looking for it, you'd believe it. A close family, a clean story. No complications, no extra pieces. I wasn't being pushed out, I was being erased. And the more I watched it happen, the harder it got to ignore what it actually meant. The house wasn't a bridge, it was a prop. And I wasn't part of the scene anymore. The call didn't come from Ryan, or my father. It came from someone who had no reason to lie. Rachel Park, another agent at my brokerage. Sharp, quiet. The kind of person who doesn't speak unless there's something worth saying. "Ethan, this might be nothing," she said, "but does your brother live in a colonial on Maple Crest?" "Yeah." "Why?" A pause. "Because someone matching his description sat down with a firm downtown last week. Asked about adverse possession. I didn't say anything. Didn't need to. Adverse possession. I knew what it was. Live in a property long enough. Openly. Continuously. Without the owner challenging it. Eventually. You can try to claim it. It takes years. It's not easy. But he wasn't asking out of curiosity. He was looking for a way in. A way to make it his. Legally. I called Patty that night. Told her everything. She didn't interrupt. Just listened. When I finished, she took a breath. "It's a stretch," she said. "But the fact that he's asking, that's not about law. That's about intent." I stared at the wall across from me. He's trying to take it, yes. No hesitation, no softening, just the truth. I hung up and sat there for a long time. Not angry, not surprised, just clear. I wasn't losing a house. I was losing the last version of the story I'd been telling myself. That somewhere, under the silence, they still wanted me there. They didn't, and now I had proof. I didn't act right away. Not after Rachel's call, not after talking to Patty. There was one thing left, one last check. The wedding. Ryan and Nicole got engaged in January. The date was set for June. 200 guests. Formal. The kind of event people talk about before it happens. I told myself something simple. If he invites me, there's still something there. If he doesn't, then I stop pretending. Invitations went out in March. 200 of them. Mine wasn't one of them. I didn't hear it from him. I heard it from Karen. She called me one afternoon. Casual, like it was normal. Hey, I got the invite. Are you doing a speech or anything? I didn't answer right away. 6 seconds. That's how long it took for her to realize. Ethan, you got one too. Right, no. Silence. Then a quiet, you're kidding. I'm not. She sent me a photo. Thick cardstock. Clean design. Gold lettering. Ryan Andrew Mercer and Nicole Elizabeth Ashford. Reception to follow at the couple's home. The couple's home. I called him. It rang 4 times. Voicemail. Called again. Same result. So I texted. I saw the invite. Am I coming 3 hours? That's how long it took for him to answer. Ethan, we talked about this. The guest list is tight. Nicole's family takes priority. Don't make this about you. We never talked. We hadn't talked about anything in years. I stared at the message for a minute, then typed the only thing that mattered. The wedding is at my house. The read receipt came back immediately. Then his reply. It's been my house for 2 years. Everyone knows that. I read it once, then again, then a third time. Each time something different shut down. First, the part of me that still thought of him as my brother. Second, the part that kept trying to keep the peace. Third, the last part that believed giving would ever be enough. I set the phone down, and for the first time in years, I stopped feeling anything. I just started thinking. I called my father the next morning. He picked up on the second ring. That told me he'd been expecting it. Did you know I'm not invited? I asked. A pause. It's your brother's wedding, he said. His call. It's my house. You gave it to him? I didn't give it. I let him live there. Same thing. It's not. Another pause. I could hear the TV in the background. He hadn't even muted it. Ethan, don't start, he said. You always do this. Do it make everything a problem. Just let your brother be happy for once. For once. Like he'd ever been denied anything. What about me? I said. Silence. Long enough for a commentator's voice to bleed through the line. Then, calm, almost gentle. You'll be fine. You always are. He hung up. I sat there with the phone in my hand. Didn't move, didn't speak. You'll be fine. He said it like it was a compliment, like the fact that I handled everything alone meant it was okay to keep leaving me alone. Like surviving made it acceptable. That was the moment something shifted. Not anger, not sadness. Something colder, quieter. Like a door closing in a place I hadn't touched in years. I didn't call him back. Didn't text Ryan. Didn't explain anything. I opened my laptop, looked up Russell Tate's number. Patty didn't say I told you so. I called her that night, walked her through everything. The invite, the messages, the call with my father. When I finished, there was a pause. Then, you weren't wrong to try, she said. You were just trying with the wrong people. I didn't respond. The deed, she said, still in your name. Yes, good. That's all that matters now. The next morning, I sat across from Russell in his office downtown. He went through everything. Deed, property records, tax history, all of it. Then he looked up. Who's been paying the property taxes I have? Every year. He nodded once, took off his glasses. Mr. Mercer, your brother has no claim to that property. No hesitation, no caveat. Legally, he added. He's a guest in your home. A guest. I sat with that for a second. Then I asked the only question that mattered. If I sell it, can he stop me? Russell didn't blink. No, that was it. No speech. No build-up. Just one word. And everything after that became simple. I didn't rush it. That was the difference. For years, everything I did around them had been reactive. Trying to keep up. Trying to fix. Trying to hold something together that was already gone. This wasn't that. This was deliberate. I called Russell that afternoon. List the house, I said. A short pause. You're sure? He asked. Once it's done. It's done. I know. Another beat. All right. No emotion. Just process. It took 3 weeks. Russell handled most of it. Quiet listing. Controlled showings. No noise. The buyer came in clean. Out-of-state family. Relocating. No contingencies. Full asking price. $770,000. They didn't ask questions about who lived there. They didn't need to. To them, it was just a house. To me, It was the last piece of something I should have let go of years ago. Closing date was set, June 14th. One day before the wedding, I signed the papers in Russell's office on a Tuesday, 4:17 p.m. He slid the documents across the table. I read every page, not because I had to, because I wanted to. Name, address, transfer of ownership, final. I signed once, then again, then once more. Russell collected the pages, stacked them neatly, and nodded. It's done. No applause, no ceremony, just ink drying on paper. The house was no longer mine, which meant it was no longer his. Russell prepared the notice to vacate. 30 days, standard, legal. I chose the delivery date, June 15th, morning of the wedding. Patty came by that night. We sat at my kitchen table, same one where she'd warned me before I bought the place. She didn't ask if I was okay. She knew better. How do you want to do it? She asked. Quiet, I said. She nodded. That fits. After she left, I sat there for a while. No TV, no music, just silence. I wasn't angry, wasn't satisfied either. Just empty. Like something had been cut out clean. No mess left behind. If you've ever had to choose between loyalty and self-respect, you know that feeling. It doesn't feel like winning. It feels like removing something that shouldn't have been there in the first place. The next day, I drafted the email. Not long, didn't need to be. Every version I wrote got shorter, until there was nothing left but facts. No explanation, no accusation, no emotion, just the truth, documents, and a deadline. I saved it, didn't send it yet. Timing mattered, it always does. June 15th, Saturday, clear sky, warm. I didn't go to the house. I parked at the end of the block instead, engine off. Window cracked just enough to hear something, if it carried, from where I sat. I could see the driveway. Cars lined both sides of the street. BMWs, Mercedes, a black Escalade I assumed belonged to Nicole's mother. The house looked good. Lights strung across the yard, lanterns along the walkway. Everything set the way I remembered it, only now it belonged to someone else. My phone buzzed. Karen, I'm inside, she whispered. It's packed. Flowers everywhere. There's a quartet on the patio. I didn't respond. He's in a gray suit. Looks like he owns the place. A pause. Nicole looks happy. Another pause. I'm sorry you're not here. It's fine, I said. It wasn't, but I didn't need to say that out loud. A few minutes passed. Music carried faintly through the open windows. Then Karen again. He just gave a speech. I tightened my grip on the steering wheel. He thanked your dad, said, quote, for giving me everything, including this house. I didn't move, and he said, she hesitated. Say it. He said he wishes your mom could be here, that she's the only one missing tonight. The only one. I was 200 yards away, alive, listening. And in his version of the story, I wasn't missing. I didn't exist. That was the moment. Not when he didn't invite me, not when he claimed the house. This, when he rewrote reality in front of 200 people and expected it to hold. I looked at the time. 8:41 p.m. I called Russell. Send it. You're certain? Yes. No hesitation. At 8:47, two things went out. First, formal notice to vacate. Courier delivery. Signature required. 30 days. Second one, email. Ryan, my father, Nicole. Same message. 6 lines. The property at 114 Maple Crest Drive has been sold. Closing date, June 14th. You have 30 days to vacate. Attached deed, sale agreement, formal notice. I wish you a happy marriage. Ethan Mercer. No emotion, no explanation, just facts and proof. 3 attachments, deed my name, clear, sale contract signed, finalized, notice legal, enforceable. I hit send. Outside. The music kept playing, laughter drifted through the night air, people celebrating something they thought was permanent. I started the engine, drove away, didn't check my phone, didn't call Karen, didn't look back. Whatever was about to happen in that house wasn't mine anymore. Karen called the next morning. I made coffee first, then I answered. Ethan, it blew up. I didn't ask how. I already knew. She told me anyway. Around 9 that night, 12 minutes after I sent the email, Ryan checked his phone during a toast. His face changed. Not red, not angry, white, like something drained out of him all at once. He walked off. Found my father near the bar. Karen was close enough to hear part of it. What do you mean sold my father's voice? Tight, controlled. Ryan said something back. Too low to catch. But the body language said enough. Tension. Pressure. Nicole noticed. Of course she did. She walked over, asked what was wrong. Ryan tried to brush it off. Didn't work. She saw the phone, took it from him, read the email, then the attachments. Karen said the room didn't go quiet all at once. It narrowed. Like everything outside that moment stopped mattering. Who is Ethan Mercer? Nicole asked. Ryan opened his mouth. Nothing came out. 3 seconds, then nobody. Karen stepped in before he could recover. "She's his brother," she said. "And he's the one who bought that house." That was it. That's all it took. The room shifted. Not loud, but permanent. Nicole looked at my father. "You have another son?" He didn't answer, not right away. That was enough. Her mother stepped in next. Margaret Ashford, the kind of woman who doesn't raise her voice because she doesn't need to. "What exactly is going on?" she asked. Nicole turned the phone toward her. Margaret read everything, didn't rush it. When she looked up, her expression had changed, measured, cold. "Is this true?" she asked. Ryan tried to speak, stumbled, changed direction. "It's complicated." Karen told me Margaret didn't even react to that, just looked at him, long enough for the silence to do the work. Then Karen said something else happened. Ryan tried to shift it. "Blame me. Sierra's always been like this," he said. "He's trying to ruin. He's not even here," Margaret cut in. That ended it. No more room to spin, no more version to sell. The story collapsed in real time. Nicole stepped back. Not dramatic, not loud, just distance. "I need air," she said, and walked out. People started leaving after that, not all at once. Small groups, quiet conversations, coats collected, eyes avoiding eye contact. No one said goodbye. By 11:14 p.m., the last car was gone. The lights were still on, but the house was empty. The next call came from my father, Sunday morning. "What did you do?" His voice was low, tight. "I sold my house. You ruined your brother's wedding." "No," I said. "I ended a situation you both created." Silence. "Then you need to fix this. It's done. You did this to hurt him." I shook my head. Even though he couldn't see it, "I did this because you erased me." Another silence. He tried one last thing. "Your mother would be ashamed of you." I didn't raise my voice, didn't hesitate. "Then she'd be ashamed of what you did to her son." He didn't respond. Hung up. That was the last real conversation we had. Everything after that was just fallout. People kept asking about the money. $770,000. They wanted to know if it felt like winning. If I kept it. If I spent it. It didn't feel like winning. It felt like getting something back that should have never been taken in the first place. A correction. Nothing more. First thing I did was clear my student loans. Every dollar. The ones I took out because the college fund my mother set up for me disappeared before I ever saw it. That mattered. That felt clean. Like closing a loop that had been left open too long. After that, I sat down with Patty. And Russell. We didn't rush it. We mapped it out. Something simple. Something useful. The Linda Mercer Foundation. Named after my mother. Not me. Never me. She was the one who saw it coming. 17 years ahead. Saw what would happen when she wasn't there to keep things balanced. And made a plan anyway. The foundation wasn't complicated. No press. No announcement. No gala. Just structure. A fund for people who needed what I needed back then. Kids who lost a parent early. Didn't have anyone stepping in. Trying to build something on their own. We covered practical things. Tuition gaps. Licensing fees. First month's rent. Deposits. The stuff nobody talks about when they say just work hard. I funded it with 1/3 of the sale. Patty handled the setup. Russell handled the legal side. That was enough. The rest I kept, not as a reward, as stability. I bought a house. Small. 2 bedrooms. Front porch. Kitchen window facing east. Morning light comes in around 7:00. That mattered more than square footage. The deed is in my name. Only my name. No cosigner. No history attached to it. The day I moved in, I opened one box first. Didn't unpack anything else. Just that. Inside was a photo. My mother, holding me as a baby. She was 31 in it. Same age I am now. I set it by the front door. "So she's the first thing I see when I walk in. This one's mine," I said, out loud. Didn't need anyone to hear it. 3 months passed. Ryan and Nicole stayed together, from what I heard through Karen. Mostly there were conditions, therapy, full financial transparency, no more gaps, no more complicated. He agreed. Whether he followed through wasn't my concern. He sent me a letter, handwritten, 2 pages, messy, fast, like he wasn't sure he'd finish if he slowed down. He didn't apologize. Not directly. Said things like, "I messed up. I don't know how to fix it. Nicole keeps asking about you. I don't know what to tell her." That part stuck. Not because it hurt, because it was honest. He didn't know me anymore. And that wasn't an accident. I read it twice, folded it, put it in a drawer, didn't respond. Not out of anger, just not ready. And for the first time, that was enough. My father didn't reach out. No call, no letter, nothing. Just silence. The same silence he'd given me my whole life. Only difference now. I wasn't waiting for it to change. Thursday nights became routine. Dinner with Patty. Sometimes Karen joined. Sometimes Russell and his wife. Same few places. Same table energy. No one talking over anyone. No one keeping score. No one making me prove I belonged there. That was the difference. This wasn't the family I was born into. It was the one I built. And nobody at that table ever made me earn a seat. I'm standing on my porch as I finish this. It's not big. 2 chairs. A plant I forget to water more often than I should. But it's mine. The name on the deed matches the person standing in it. And nobody inside these walls has ever told me I don't belong. For a long time, I thought family meant endurance. That if you gave enough time, money, patience, silence eventually, they'd see you. I was wrong. Not about giving, about who I was giving it to. I didn't sell that house out of anger. I sold it because I finally understood something simple. I wasn't asking for too much. I was offering it to people who didn't value it. If you're the one in your family who keeps showing up, keeps giving, keeps making space for people who wouldn't do the same for you, you don't need permission to stop. You don't need agreement to set a boundary. And you don't need to explain why protecting yourself matters. A boundary isn't rejection. It's selection. You decide who gets access. I don't know what happens next with Ryan. Maybe one day we talk. Maybe we don't. Both are valid. As for my father, I stopped trying to understand him. That was never my job. What I know is this. I have a home. I have people who chose me. And I have a life that doesn't require me to disappear to keep it intact. If this story hits something for you, let me know where you're watching from, what time it is, and if you've ever had to choose between keeping your family or keeping yourself, tell me what you chose. Hit like, subscribe if you want more stories like this. And if you're ready for the next one, it's waiting for you. Take care of yourself. You were never too much. They were just offering too little. This story is a fictionalized narrative inspired by common family dynamics and legal scenarios. It is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only.